5 geniuses who were also terrible human beings. Bobby Fischer was a raging anti-Semite. Bobby Fischer was widely regarded as the greatest chess player of all time. He was unquestionably the finest American chess player of all time, and he proved it when, in 1972, he became the first Yank to be declared official world chess champion after checkmating Boris Spassky of the USSR. But in between matches, he enjoyed disliking Jews. The ultimate irony was that he was most likely Jewish himself. According to the Jewish press, Fischer considered Jews to be filthy people. He was upset that his biography was featured in the Encyclopedia Judaica and asked that it be deleted. He must have imagined that everyone would want to convert to Judaism simply because they were casually reading this book and saw his name, and he wasn't having it. Try to promote your religion on its own merits, if it has any, he advised the publishers. As if that wasn't enough, Fischer also became a Holocaust denier enamored with the Third Reich. He possessed a vast collection of German artifacts. Rumors had it he slept with a photograph of Adolf above his bed. Isaac Newton erased a guy from the history book over a stupid rivalry. Isaac Newton is among the finest scientists of all time. Among his many notable accomplishments, he invented calculus, discovered gravity, and found 3 laws of motion. Most of us would have given up science after completing just one of those things, knowing that our name would be etched in history. Do you know whose name is scarcely mentioned in history books? Robert Hooke. That is all due to Newton's attempt to wipe him off the face of the world over a minor disagreement. According to New Historian, Hooke was also a great scientist, so much so that one of his biographers dubbed him the English Da Vinci. But he and Newton differed on whether light was a particle, and their argument escalated into some very nasty letters. When Newton presented his theory of gravity, things became even worse. Hooke had worked on it himself and believed he deserved some credit, but Newton was not ready to give him any. Newton was able to begin damaging Hooke's reputation after his demise. Soon, rumors circulated that he was bitter and grabbed credit for other people's efforts. Newton may have even been responsible for destroying the single portrait of Hooke that existed because halfway measures are for losers. John Lennon was a wife-beater. John Lennon is among the best musicians of all time. As a member of the Beatles and as a solo artist, he is responsible for some of the greatest songs of all time. He was also a giant, massive, unmistakable jerk. According to Vice, Lennon had a long list of flaws. He cheated on his first wife, Cynthia, by having an affair with Yoko Ono. But then he had an 18-month affair with his assistant while he was with Ono. He was a terrible parent to his first kid, Julian, beating him about for heinous childhood offenses like not having immaculate table manners. But arguably the most heinous of his offenses was that he enjoyed beating women, even the 2 he married. Lennon confirmed as much in a Playboy interview published 2 days before his passing. He said he hit any woman and then attempted some bizarre introspection that just made matters worse. He said that it was the reason he was always preaching peace, since it is the most violent people who go for love and peace. Perfect logic for a wife-beater. Thomas Edison harmed animals. Though Thomas Edison's image has taken a hit in recent years as Tesla has become the patron saint of the Internet, he is still acknowledged as one of history's greatest innovators. During the so-called War of Currents, Thomas Edison had a running fight with Tesla about which type of electricity was superior, Edison's direct current or Tesla's alternating current. Because it was conceived by the far more attractive scientist, AC current seemed the obvious option. It was also, like, really efficient. Not wishing to be proven wrong, and desperate to keep America bound by the stupidly inferior DC system, Edison attempted to demonstrate the risks of AC electricity by harming pups with it. When confronted with the knowledge that someone had created a far superior mechanism for supplying electricity than Edison's, Edison committed puppycide as retaliation. Virginia Woolf, Intellectual Superiority, Elitism. Millions of children today study and read her novels. Woolf, on the other hand, would have despised the concept of young kids reading her work unless they had a trust fund. Woolf, you know, was a great advocate of the leisure class, those with enough money to not work, and was cited as stating that reading and study should be reserved for them. Yes, Woolf believed that study and reading were a particular gift reserved for the wealthy. She carried her snobbishness one step further in her own house. When her diaries were made public, many who read them detected an unnerving pattern. Woolf enjoyed making fun of her staff. In her private journals, she voiced everything from disdain to sorrow for the folks who had to clean up after her. She thought they deserved more, but she also thought they'd never be able to appreciate life as much as she did.